For elimination, we're going to be adding the two equations together vertically, and in that process, we want one of the variables to end up being 0. So the first thing you need to make sure of is that your x's are lined up vertically, your y's are lined up vertically, and then equals whatever is lined up vertically. Then your goal, and I'm going to write this at the top of the page, your goal is to have a positive negative match for one of the variables so that they will cancel out when you add. Take a look at number 5. Notice in the y's we have positive y and negative y. That is a positive negative match. It's 1y and negative 1y. So when we add these two equations together, 2x plus x is 3x. Y and negative y is 0. You don't even need to write the 0 if you don't want to. And 2 plus 7 is 9. So we're left with the equation 3x equals 9, which should be a fairly easy equation to solve. X equals 3. A lot of people like elimination better because there's not quite as much work to do, assuming that it is set up nicely for elimination. Once you have x equals 3, we need to go back to one of the original equations. I would select the equation that has mostly positives and smaller numbers. So 3 plus y equals 2. It'll pop eventually, hopefully. We subtract 3 on both sides and we get y equals negative 1. Our solution is 3, negative 1. If you're working ahead, we're going to skip number 7, by the way. Okay, number 6. The problem with number 6 is that the things aren't lined up vertically. So, first thing we need to do is get them lined up vertically. This top equation, x plus 3y equals 5, it's fine. So I'm just going to write that over on the right. And once I figure out this bottom equation, I can write the fixed bottom equation over there underneath it. We want to keep y on the left side, but we want x to also be on the left side. So we need to add x on both sides. Then we need to add 8 on both sides. So we end up with x plus 4y equals 8. So once we've rearranged that equation, we have x plus 4y equals 8. Okay, now remember our goal is to have a positive negative match. I see all positives. Doesn't work. So we need to multiply one of the equations by something to achieve our goal. So multiply one of these equations by negative 1. It doesn't matter which one you do. That will give me negative x minus 4y equals negative 8. And then I'm just going to rewrite the other equation underneath it just so that my work is nice and neat and orderly. Once you have that positive negative match, add them vertically. Negative x plus x is 0. Negative 4y plus 3y is negative 1y. Negative 8 plus 5 is negative 3. Divide by negative 1 and you get y equals 3. Okay, you need to plug y equals 3 into one of the original equations. It does not matter which one. I'm going to pick the top one. So x plus 3 times 3 equals 5. And that gives me negative 4. So our solution is negative 4, 3. Number 7, there's actually an error. If you want to do this one on your own, the only thing that I would ask is that you change this number to a negative 4, I believe. I think. and that should make it work better. But we are going to skip number 7, and we're going to do number 8. The problem with number 8, we do not have a positive-negative match. We also could not easily multiply one equation by something to get that positive-negative match. So, should we try our x's or our y's? Which do you prefer? X's? Think about 2x and 3x. What number pops into your head? 6. So our goal is going to be, whoopsie, 6x and negative 6x. You could also have your goal be 20y and negative 20y, but why would you do that much work to get that big of numbers? So my goal is I want these two equations. One of them needs to be 6x, the other one needs to be negative 6x. So the first equation, how do I change 2 to 6? Multiply by 3. So that equation will be 6x plus 12y equals 9. So now I have 6x. I want the other one to be negative 6x. What do I need to multiply 3 by to get negative 6x? Negative 2. So negative 6x minus 10y equals negative 2. Take a moment and finish solving that on your own. So I added these two equations together and ended up with y equals 7/2. You could leave it as 7/2, but 7/2 as a decimal is 3.5. It doesn't involve any rounding. It's a nice decimal that you can actually write down without rounding. When you get an answer like that, feel free to use the decimals. You do not have to leave it as fractions. If it's a fraction or if it's a decimal that you'd have to round because it just keeps on going on and on and on, then you should try to put it back into a fraction. I will try not to give you very many of those for solving systems. Once you have y equals 3.5, you have some options. You can plug that into the y from the original first equation, into the y from the original second equation, or into any of the other y's. I would suggest choosing the one that has the smallest numbers possible. So I'm going to take 2x plus 4y equals 3 and plug my y equals 3.5 into there. I believe 4 times 3.5 is 14. And 3 minus 14 is negative 11. And negative 11/2 is negative 5.5. So our solution is negative 5.5, 3.5, or if you wanted to leave it as fractions, it would be negative 11/2, 7/2.